welcome back to CCSP certified channel. Today I am uploading recording of 27th January, that was third class, and domain 1 took around 7 classes. So I have already uploaded 2 class recording previously. This is third in the series, and I will upload 4 more for the domain 1. And before I go to that recording, I just want to show this peace of mind promotional code shared by IC Square. And when you might be watching this video, there might be different offer going on, but currently this offer is going on and all the offers come with the peace of mind only. So what IC Square give? IC Square gives actually two attempt in single fees. And how they do it, they give a cutoff date. By this, if you book a exam, and there will be like this time, if you book a exam by 15th of March and you give first attempt by 31st of March, in case you are not able to succeed, you can give the second attempt by 31st of May. And this will give you at least peace of mind that you can have a second options available in case you are not able to qualify in the first option. Even though you miss first option, you have a fair idea how the exams going on, what are the questions coming, and that may helpful you to crack at least the second exam. So this good that whenever this promotion going on, you enroll for those exams. And at least uh, this normally in couple of months this offers comes, like say if it's come now this time in March, next promotional offer will come around end of the April or starting month of May. And uh, as I mentioned, I'm starting new batches. Considering this promotional offer, you can write me at the ccsp-certified at the gmail.com to enroll for them. In case you don't cannot go classroom studies because of your tight schedule, work-life balance, you can ask for these recordings. These recordings I will make you reachable. I will make you accessible. It has all course that I have covered. Along with this, I will share the question bank and test paper and my guidance if you want to enroll, if you purchase this video lectures. So let's come to the topic. And we have seen cloud burst and the associated concept yesterday. So today we will cover the more advanced concepts. So those concepts are regarding the multi-cloud and some cloud definitions. So multi-cloud we have seen also. It is two public cloud or more than two public clouds. If interact each other, that's known as multi-cloud. And the good example is Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud. Google Cloud and Microsoft Cloud. If you have purchased the services of multiple clouds, you will be considered as a multi-cloud. And what is the pros and cons of this one? If you purchase the multiple cloud, you will have a better BCDR setup. You have a better resiliency and redundancy. You also purchase best of each. Let's say Oracle is good in database, you will purchase Oracle database. But if Google is or the Microsoft good in the uploading that .NET application, you will purchase those components from Microsoft Cloud or Azure Cloud. And the cons is it will increase the complexity of the solution. Architecture design is more complex, and definitely the attack surface is also more because you have a more presence in the cloud, and performance might be issue because they might be latency in the different geographical location they are lying in. Now we'll discuss few cloud definitions today.
So we will start now the cloud share consideration. And yesterday till we read about the public cloud, private cloud, and SaaS-based modules. Now the few important definitions we will see, and at least one questions we expect from these definitions also. So it's not necessary that every time they will ask the question, but normally the pattern is they ask a couple of questions from public cloud and SaaS model, and they ask one questions on these definitions. So one is the interoperability and one is the portability. So this portability is very important concept in the cloud. We'll cover this portability first. So portability is very important because we don't want a vendor login that we have seen to be done. And the vendor login can be reduced if they have a portability concept. So what is portability? It is the ability to move application and associated data also. So always remember application, like you have on OIM application, any application you have, and the data of the customers between one cloud provider and another, or between public and private cloud environment. So when you have a ability to move the application and data from one cloud provider to another cloud provider, then you can quickly switch to other cloud if there is a disaster happen, or when you can quickly switch to the other cloud when you are not liking the services of that particular cloud vendors. So portability is very important to have a vendor locking disabled. So let's say this is one cloud provider, this is your application, you can easily migrate or port this application from this application to other cloud provider along with the data. This is the first portability. Then what is interoperability? So interoperability is the reuse of the application components, either within cloud or other clouds. So this is good for your development, your management of the system, but this is required for the on-premise setup also. In cloud, it's not necessary that like you have used a function or a component in the app 2, then you can same use in the app 3 also. So this is interoperability. Same way, if one few of your services in cloud 1, few of your services in cloud 2, then definitely F4 can be interoperability used in the cloud uh, too with the different applications. So interoperability is good to have, but portability is must to have. So when you move to other cloud quickly because of the disaster, or when you move other cloud because you don't like the services of cloud 1, you will have a ease. So whenever you purchase a cloud service, you always focus on the portability of the cloud. So we'll see later also, but just a bigger overview, what is difference between portability and interoperability? You just understand it because some question ask on this also. We'll see in this in our testing question testing also. The second concept here is resiliency and governance. So normally all the clouds giving the resiliency, and what is the resiliency is there when when there is something wrong happen, when there is an event of the disruption happen, the equipment and the resources can recover themselves equally. The business does not get impacted. So the cloud resiliency represents the ability of the cloud service data center and its associated components, including server, storage, so on, to continue operating in the event of disruptions. So they do have a, so let's say even the servers has a multiple failover, storage has a multiple failover, and the other components has a multiple failover. So even though one components get failed, services or business does not get impact. Business keep on running. In case of the disaster or power outage or any failure happens, so it is called the resiliency. So each cloud, when you are purchasing the cloud services, you must be aware the resiliency of the cloud. And as I mentioned, there will be mapping question between. There will be three mapping question there. One of them questions I have seen, this is this mapping: interoperability, portability, resiliency. So they give this definition one side, and they give this keyword, and they ask to match which keyword they match. So this keywords or definition is very important. Governance is normally normal governance process that is quite clear, that how you govern the like page management, procedures, policies, controls, ACLs. So governance is quite a generic term. Resilience is very important term. So governance is terms of governance related to process and decisions. So how good your organizations governing the clouds and the SLAs and the procedures and policies they committed to. The few more definition is reversibility. This is also very important definition, and this is the ability to cloud customer to take all their systems and data. So you have to remember these two words: all their systems and data out of the cloud provider, and have assurance that the cloud provider that the data has been securely and completely removed within agreed upon timeline. So when we have seen in portability is very important to move from one cloud to other cloud. So when you move from one cloud to other cloud, you just copy the just take the data out from one cloud and move to other cloud. But what is the assurance that the data you have taken out from the cloud, it is still not remain there and no one can misuse it? So there must be a so assurance that the cloud that you, because there is always when you delete a data in the cloud, it is never a permanent delete. So we will see how the data deletion happen in the next domain too, but I quickly give the overview. So when there is a on-premise system, so when you delete the data, there are multiple ways of deleting it. One is either you do a control shift delete, and it get deleted. Second way, like when you if it is a magnetic tape, you can do a gazing or magnetic eraser of the data. And the other way is you destroy the hard disk. And we have, as industry, know that all the methods, there is a recovery methods except the hard disk destruction. If you destroy the hard disk, then only the data will be permanently lost. Otherwise, data can be recovered by different tools or ways if the data is self deleted. But in cloud, you don't have control of the data center. The hard disk is with the cloud vendors. You can only ask them to delete the data, and there will be always a soft delete. They will not, because the same hard disk being used by multiple customers if it is not a private cloud, and they will never delete the hard disk when you leave the cloud. So for this, encryption helps. In what encryption do in the cloud? Encryption, when you encrypt the data and lose the key, there is no way to decrypt it, and it is considered as a hard disk delete. So we will cover this in domain 2, but you understand encryption, how encryption helps. Encryptions, because every data you store in the cloud is always encrypted. This is first terminologies. When you store the data, it is encrypted. When you read the data, is encrypted. When you transfer the data, it is encrypted. So when you store the data, it is always encrypted. And if you delete the key, it is called as a data loss or data deletion. So we'll cover. So, but reversibility is the ability of the cloud customer to take all their system and data and assurance that the data is securely deleted. So this keyword is known as a reversibility. There is one more concept is cloud outsourcing. So cloud outsourcing is same like the outsourcing we do for our project, but it is in the cloud. It is little different terminologies. You just need to remember it's a pay-per-use model in cloud outsourcing. So when there is a cloud outsourcing concept come, it is not the outsource of the services. It is pay-per-use utility model in the cloud outsourcing is being used. So whenever a keyword comes, always go with the pay use utility model in the cloud outsourcing. And the last is in the consideration is how the maintenance and the versions control is there, how the SLAs regulate compliance, auditability, availability, security, and privacy of the cloud. So when you consider any cloud, you always check interoperability, portability, resiliency, governance, and reversibility, outsourcing, and last the few SLAs. What is their SLAs maintained, how they are maintaining their compliance, how good it is good to have a audit, their availability, security, privacy. So these are the normal consideration when you consider the cloud. Now we'll cover some questions here. Before this, anything you want to ask Abhishek or Karthik? Because question we will test this again, and this time you have to understand the concept very thoroughly to give the answer. So I hope you are clear on this SaaS PaaS model and the public-private cloud.
Yes,
Okay. So we'll go with Abhishek first, and then we'll go to Karthik. So Abhishek, you.
You are the IT security manager of the video game software development company. In order to test the functionality of online multiplayer game connection, your testing team wants to cloud service independent from the internal production environment. Service model based for requirement. Software development functionally online multiplayer game. Internal production environment. So basically, it is SaaS. It is looking on only the software as a service is looking for a separate environment.
Okay. What is your answer, Karthik?
pass.
Okay. So Abhishek, whenever we have a software company, always it will be either pass on us. Why? SaaS is only the services given by the vendors. So there is no you will not install your own software. If you want to install your own game, your own that piece of code, you always need either
SaaS, we can
SaaS.
install a service, right? Into
No,
that.
SaaS is this. That's why SaaS is this software as a service. Software they vendor has software cloud
That
services
is
has.
concept.
So Fusion,
SaaS.
yeah. So Oracle Fusion cycle, Oracle ने SCM डेवलप किया और SaaS based मॉडल भी दे दिया. आप you don't install a software, you just purchase a license for the users you use in that system, है ना? So always it will be either pass or ask. So as I mentioned,
Why need to install? Ask means it will be a where you can have a machine and all these things, more
correct.
details. But pass only having an installation, right?
Correct. So you have to understand the question because you just need your testing team to use the cloud services and you already have an internal production system. तो तुमको इतना पैसा लगाना नहीं है क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास अपना सिस्टम है. तुमको सिर्फ
I was
ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए. हाँ तो यू नीड
I
जहाँ
was thinking कि उसको just copy करके एक नया सर्विस it will be a SaaS पे वहाँ पे कर सकते हैं कि
ओके.
नहीं ये.
तो ये अभी अभी और क्वेश्चन आएंगे अभिषेक. ये अंडरस्टैंड करना, सास में तुम्हारा कुछ भी कंट्रोल नहीं है. तुम ना इंस्टॉल कर सकते हो, ना स्टार्ट कर सकते हो, ना स्टॉप कर सकते हो.
Okay.
तुम सिर्फ एक यूजर हो. पास में तुम्हारे पास एक तो जब भी पास इन्वायरमेंट आता है तो बेस्ट ऑप्शन वो होता है क्योंकि कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव भी है और वो वेरियस ओएस प्लेटफॉर्म देता है
So
जहाँ पे.
basically, pass is the best option. Means both sides से.
हाँ
Cost और
कई बार, हाँ पर आज कई बार आता है जब हमसे बोलते हैं कि हमारे पास इन्वायरमेंट नहीं है, हमको कंट्रोल करना है, हमको आस इज मोर मनी. आस में पास का फीचर
पर ये
नहीं.
टास्क तो कुछ नहीं होता अभी तक तो कुछ
हाँ
पड़ा नहीं टास्क के लिए.
हाँ. तो जो वो ये डिस्ट्रक्टर होते हैं, ये हमेशा एक चार ऑप्शन तो उसको बनाने हैं एग्जाम वाले को. एक ऑप्शन ऐसा बनाएगा जो कि सबसे पहले आपको रूल आउट करना है. तो उसको देखते पहले काट देना कि ये तो है ही नहीं. फिर ये ऑप्शन सोचना कि यार ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता क्योंकि यहाँ पे अपना सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप करना है. फिर इन दोनों में जो कंफ्यूजन होगा उसमें आपको लॉजिक लगाना है कि यार इसमें इतना पैसा लगाना है कि नहीं लगाना है हमको. तो दिस वे यू हैव टू गिव आंसर इन द एग्जाम. ओके, क्लियर अभिषेक?
हाँ क्लियर है.
कार्तिक,
Clear.
ठीक है. अब अगले क्वेश्चन में जाते हैं. ये कार्तिक के लिए है.
Okay.
ठीक है, दो आंसर कार्तिक.
It should also be pass A option.
It is a ask.
ओके.
Right.
सो अगेन अभिषेक मैंने वही बता दिया, ये पास ही आंसर है. क्यों है इसका मैं एक्सप्लेनेशन देता हूँ. वैसे आस और पास में ये सोचना पड़ेगा क्या होगा. सबसे पहली बात है कि 2 मिनट. सबसे पहली बात है कि ये सीईओ एक सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी की है तो हमारे पास सास ऑप्शन तो चला गया. जब भी सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी आएगी तो वी हैव टू डेवलप द सॉफ्टवेयर. सो फर्स्ट ऑप्शन हैज गॉन. लाइक इट कैन नॉट बी बास. बास तो होता ही नहीं कुछ, और सास भी नहीं होगा क्योंकि आई हैव टू. अब ये हमें कंडीशनल ट्रेडिशन ऑन प्रीमाइस एनवायरनमेंट को क्लाउड पे लेके जाना चाहती है. अब यहाँ ये बोला है कि क्लाउड पे लेके जाना है, पर क्लाउड पे सीईओ के पास क्या पैसा है, कितना बैंडविड्थ है, कितना क्या है, ये सब नहीं बताया. तो ऑलवेज कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव सॉल्यूशन पे जाना है हमको. सो पास विल अलाउ डेवलपर टू क्रिएट डिजाइन एप्लीकेशन, है ना, इंक्रीज द मार्केट. शी कैन जोग्राफिकली प्रोग्रामर अलग अलग लोकेशन पे ले सकते हैं. आस में भी वो सब मिल सकता है, बट unnecessary responsibility of updating OS or maintaining the OS or other infrastructure is in a headache in the ask. So unless ask is my requirement, specific requirement है कि मुझे खुद ही मैनेज करना है अपनी इंफ्रा, तब तक मैं ask पे नहीं जाऊंगा. I will go always the cost effective method if it is served to me. यदि पास से मेरा काम हो जाएगा तो एग्जाम ये क्वेश्चन इसके CCSP पे एग्जाम बुक्स में है. और कई बार वो आपका लॉजिक टेस्ट करते हैं कि आपको क्या ऑप्शन आपने सेलेक्ट किया. तो आपको हमेशा एक तो कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव सॉल्यूशन सेलेक्ट करना है, और मेरी नीड जस्ट टू नीड क्लियर हो जाए कि यहाँ मुझे इतना पैसा इतना काम हो गया कि मेरा काम चल गया है. आई विल ऑलवेज गो विद दैट सॉल्यूशन. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कवर करते हैं अभिषेक. उसमें बताना, अब बताना.
organization wants to retain most control
Of
yeah,
everything. Hmm.
of of
Of their assets in cloud.
हाँ ये तो कंट्रोल होगा तो आस ही होगा, मतलब उसका एसेट मतलब
हाँ
उसका सर्वर जो भी
हाँ,
हार्ड,
अब इसमें
तो
खुद ही
उसमें भी
क्वेश्चन हो
पैचिंग।
जाएगा।
हाँ
हाँ, तो अब आस में भी दो ऑप्शन है।
हाँ, तो ये तो आस ही लग रहा है मुझे।
और बी और डी में से फिर कौन सा होगा? आस में भी दो ऑप्शन है, वो
अच्छा
देखिए।
सॉरी मैंने देखा नहीं, हाँ हाँ, आस हाइब्रिड और आस प्राइवेट, आस हाइब्रिड ही है क्योंकि उसमें पब्लिक का प्राइवेट का तो अननेसेसरी पैसा ज्यादा है।
नहीं, तो जब जब मोस्ट कंट्रोल बोले ना, जैसे क्या हुआ इसमें, यदि वो उसने बोल दिया कि सबसे ज्यादा कंट्रोल उसको किस में मिलेगा, अब वो पैसे
मोस्ट
स्पेसिफिक, अब वो
कंट्रोल।
फीचर्स वाइज चाह रहा है। तो मोस्ट कंट्रोल उसको एक तो आस मिलेगा और प्राइवेट मिलेगा, उसको सब कुछ अपना कंट्रोल में रहेगा। इंफ्रा भी अपने
हम्म।
कंट्रोल में और प्राइवेट अपने सिस्टम, पूरा सिस्टम अपने कंट्रोल में होगा। तो जब क्वेश्चन में आपसे एक कोई फीचर पूछा है तो उस फीचर स्पेसिफिक जवाब देना है, फीचर नहीं पूछा है तो कोर्स स्पेसिफिक जवाब देना है। ठीक है।
अच्छा
ठीक है।
ठीक है, तो
और
ये
क्वेश्चन आएंगे।
थोड़ा
इसलिए
कंफ्यूजिंग।
क्वेश्चन, हाँ इसलिए क्वेश्चन, अब इस स्लाइड रिपीट करना, और इस क्वेश्चंस को थोड़ा लॉजिकली आंसर देना। और भी अब में क्वेश्चंस है, ये कार्तिक तुम जवाब दो। कार्तिक पढ़ रहे हो?
हाँ हाँ हाँ। As a most cost effective cost saving, प्राइवेट तो होगा नहीं। सर्विस एंड डिप्लॉयमेंट मॉडल भी बोला है इसमें, तो सी ऑप्शन।
इस केस
मुझे
में
तो
सी
लग रहा
होगा।
है ए ऑप्शन ना, सी एज पर
रीजन, यदि यहाँ अभिषेक बोलते यदि इफ ए
सॉफ्टवेयर
सॉफ्टवेयर
कंपनी नहीं
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन,
लिखा है ऐसा कुछ
हाँ
इसमें।
यदि ये सॉफ्टवेयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लिख देते, सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी, तो हम सास बेस्ड मॉडल पे नहीं जाते, तब हम पास जाते। यदि हमको कोई भी कुछ भी नहीं लिखा, तो हमको
हम्म
सबसे चीपेस्ट सॉल्यूशन पे जाना चाहिए, जब मोस्ट कॉस्ट सेविंग है ना। यदि कार्तिक
हम्म
यही क्वेश्चन होगा, इफ ए सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट कंपनी वांट टू
तो
रियलाइज दिस मोस्ट कॉस्ट सेविंग, तो ये ऑप्शन नहीं आता। सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट कि किसके लिए आप सॉल्यूशन दे रहे हो। क्योंकि प्रीवियसली उसने बोला सिर्फ हमको कॉस्ट मोस्ट कंट्रोल बोला, कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वो नहीं बोला, तो हम सबसे कंट्रोल पे गए। जब हमको कॉस्ट सेविंग बोला तो हम कॉस्ट सेविंग देखेंगे, पर यदि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अलग है, यदि इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्पेसिफाई कर दिया है, तो उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की नीड भी देखनी पड़ेगी, तब हम किसी और ऑप्शन ऑप्शन पे
अच्छा।
जाते हैं।
हम्म
ठीक है। विल सी नेक्स्ट। हाँ, ये क्लियर होगा। अब ये अभिषेक तुम्हारे लिए है।
हम्म In what color cloud promoted service model in the customer responsible for installing and maintaining the operating system? Installing and maintenance of the operating system should be in us.
करेक्ट, ये तो क्वाइट स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है। पर हाँ, इस तरह
हाँ
एक क्वेश्चन आता है एक, वो पूछता है कि इसमें किसमें कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, इसलिए मैं इसको क्वेश्चन, बाकी ये तो डिस्ट्रक्टर है, वो तो पहले ही काट दो। सास में तो कुछ भी कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते हम। पास में अपनी एप्लीकेशन कर सकते हैं, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम नहीं कर सकते, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम आस्क के थ्रू आता है। ठीक है। ये कार्तिक तुम्हारे लिए है।
ओके। पास।
अभिषेक तुम?
मेरे को भी पास ही है।
हम्म। क्योंकि देखो, एक तो सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी है, वो स्मॉल भी है, तो वो उतना ही
बजट
पैसा
हाँ।
लगाएगी जितना उसको काम है। और सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी है तो सास तो लगा नहीं सकती, लास्ट भी नहीं लगा सकती। तो इनमें हमेशा पास पे जाना है ना। पास सब आज सब कुछ बेनिफिट देगी, पर वो एडिशनल कॉस्ट, एडिशनल एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए, वो बहुत जरूरी हो तो ही यूज करना है उसको। ठीक है। ये क्वेश्चन अभिषेक तुम्हारे लिए है।
You are the IT director for a small contracting firm. Your company is considered migrating to a cloud to production. Hmm. like to best fit your need. If you wanted option that reduce the chance of vendor locking, but also did not require the highest degree of administration right. पास ही है,
कार्तिक तुम्हारा आंसर?
पास है आईएएस में, बट उसमें भी पैसे का भी है।
तो ये कीवर्ड लिखा है ना अभिषेक,
वेंडर लॉकिंग, हाईएस्ट डिग्री ऑफ
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन नहीं
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन
चाहिए।
बाय और पर्सन।
हाँ, यू डिड नॉट रिक्वायर, यदि तुमको हाईएस्ट, सबसे कम वेंडर लॉकिंग किस में होता है?
आस में।
आस में होता है, परंतु वहां पे हाईएस्ट डिग्री ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है। सबसे
हाँ हाँ
ज्यादा वेंडर लॉकिंग के चांसेस सास में, क्योंकि तुम्हारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है। पर उसने
हाँ
बीच का ऑप्शन मांगा आपसे, क्योंकि उसने
हाँ,
बोला कि
पास का
वो,
हाँ।
हाँ, कि वेंडर लॉकिंग नहीं चाहिए, तो आपकी दो ऑप्शन तो कट गए। फिर उसने बोला वेंडर लॉकिंग नहीं चाहिए, तो सास और ये तो कट गए। अब आस और पास बचा था। पर जो हाईएस्ट डिग्री ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन भी नहीं चाहिए, तो आस भी कट गया। पर ये बोले कि वेंडर लॉकिंग नहीं चाहिए किसी भी केस में, तो 100% आस में जाएंगे, यदि ये लास्ट वाली लाइन नहीं होगी तो। ठीक है। तो क्वेश्चंस यही
हाँ
क्वेश्चन आते हैं, पर वो घुमा देते हैं थोड़ा, सिनारियो चेंज कर देते हैं। तुमको एग्जाम
हाँ
एग्जैक्टली यही क्वेश्चन दिखेगा, पर यहाँ कर देंगे यू नीड ए हाईएस्ट डिग्री ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आल्सो। तो वो वही आंसर चेंज हो जाएगा। तो वहां पे आंसर से ज्यादा लॉजिक अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है। ठीक है। तो ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन है ये दोनों के लिए। ये सिर्फ ये मैंने पढ़ाया नहीं है, पर ये कॉमन सेंस आंसर, कई बार क्वेश्चन कॉमन सेंस के भी आते हैं वहां बिना पढ़ाए।
अच्छा।
ये पढ़ के दो, जवाब दो।
The following is
दोनों
discussed
कार्तिक को भी
automated patching, especially in the cloud. Interfere with the tenant's production environment. Patches don't provide software service with service. तो मुझे लग रहा है ए, क्वेश्चन नंबर ए।
ओके, तुम्हारा कार्तिक?
एक मिनट, ऑटोमेटेड बैचिंग बोला है। बी ऑप्शन।
सो कार्तिक, ऑप्शन ए है। इसको कैसे अटेम्प्ट करते हैं सारे क्वेश्चंस को? इन क्वेश्चंस में हमेशा पहले ऑप्शन जो जो बहुत एक्सट्रीम लग रहे हैं ना, उनको रिड्यूस करते जाते हैं। तो पहला ऑप्शन लिखा है कि पेजेस में इंटरफेयर में, मतलब हो सकता है कि कुछ टेनेंट को इंटरफेयर कर सके। हाँ, तुमने ऑटोमेटिक पेज लगाया, हो सकता है कि किसी कोई ओल्ड जावा पे काम कर रहा है किसी का सोल्यूशन, और तुमने जावा नया इंस्टॉल कर दिया, तो उसका प्रोडक्शन इन्वायरमेंट इम्पेक्ट हो सकता है। हाँ, में है। पेजेस डू नॉट वर्क विद सॉफ्टवेयर एज सर्विस मॉडल। अभी एक्सट्रीम क्वेश्चन है कि पेजेस वर्क ही नहीं करते सास मॉडल में। सास तो वैसे भी सीएसपी मैनेज करता है, ना भी वर्क करे तो सीएसपी का सॉल्यूशन डाउन जाएगा। हम तो उसकी सर्विस यूज कर रहे हैं। देयर सर्विसेज आर डाउन, वी आर जस्ट यूजिंग देयर सर्विस एंड विल नॉट पे। तो पेजेस उनको मैनेज करना है कि उनके सॉफ्टवेयर कंपेटेबल है कि नहीं, हम पेज उनको लगा नहीं रहे। तो ये ऑप्शन वैसे कट गया। पेजेस डू नॉट वर्क विद प्राइवेट क्लाउड बोर्ड, ये भी कोई लॉजिकल है नहीं। पेजेस प्राइवेट क्लाउड से स्पेसिफिक का पेज से कोई मतलब ही नहीं है। कोई सा भी क्लाउड मॉडल हो, पेज तो सब जगह लग सकते हैं ना। वेंडर डज नॉट इश्यू पेजेस टू द क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर, वेंडर क्यों नहीं इश्यू करेंगे भाई? वेंडर को तो पेज देना है, चाहे क्लाउड में लगाओ कि ऑन प्रीमाइज में लगाओ। तो जब बेस्ट ऑप्शन, व्हेन यू रिमूव द सम ऑप्शंस व्हिच इज लुकिंग एक्सट्रीम, यू विल ऑलवेज हैव ऑप्शंस जो ठीक लग रहा है कि हाँ ऐसा हो सकता है, देन वी गो विद दैट ऑप्शन। और एग्जाम में जब,
मैं ऐसा सोच रहा था, जैसे इफ सपोज वी आर यूजिंग एन ओल्डर वर्जन ऑफ जावा और अपना एप्लीकेशन उस पे ही चल रहा है,
हाँ,
और ये जो सॉफ्ट मतलब क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर है, वो अपने को एक ऐसी सर्विस दे रहा है जिसमें जावा नया वर्जन का है।
तो हमारा सॉफ्टवेयर ही नहीं है ना, सॉफ्टवेयर भी तो कस्टमर का
ओके,
है।
हाँ,
तो
राइट।
कस्टमर ही खुद ही मैनेज करे कि नए वर्जन पे जावा पे उसका सॉफ्टवेयर चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा। इट्स नॉट माय वरी।
ठीक। ओके।
मेरा वरी होता जब पास होता, ये पास मॉडल होता ना, तब
हाँ,
ये 100% ये आंसर होता। क्योंकि पास मॉडल में जब मेरा सॉफ्टवेयर चले ना चले, हो सकता है कि उन्होंने अपना जावा अपडेट किया, मेरी एप्लीकेशन नहीं चले। तो वो तो है ही नहीं केस, वो सास मॉडल है। तो इस तरह के करीबन 15-20 क्वेश्चन होंगे जो जो पढ़ाए नहीं जाएंगे, पर ऐसे होंगे जो आपको कॉमन सेंस लग के रिमूव करना पड़ेगा, हाँ ये ऑप्शन तो नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, देन यू विल गो विद दैट ऑप्शन. सो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस विल कवर देम, पर ऐसे क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में भी आएंगे करीब 15-20 क्वेश्चंस. ओके
ठीक है, क्लियर हो गया.
ठीक है. सो अभी थोड़ा ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन था अभी का, हम एक नए कंसेप्ट चालू करेंगे, उससे पहले थोड़ा क्विक 5 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लेते हैं. ठीक है
ठीक है, ओके.
ठीक है, चालू करते हैं. 9:57 पे, लेट मत करना आईडी, आ जाना जल्दी. ठीक है.
So now we'll cover the few topics. Those are part of our syllabus, but might not be very important. And first concept is data science. So data science is the extraction of the knowledge from data by different technologies. So this call is data science. So science is associated with data to extract the knowledge from the data. So one of them is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is part of data science only. And there are three terms: artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. And if you see, there's a Venn diagram. So artificial intelligence is the outer box, and the other two are the subset. So first is what is artificial intelligence? It is like machine mimic human behavior. So if the machine can think, work, act like human, it is artificial intelligence. How machine will able to do it? We are machine learning. Machine can learn, and machine can learn by different techniques, and they helps improve the machine. So machine is by default at very dumb level, and machine can be learned or can be improved by teaching. So it's like a newborn baby. Over the time, different teaching, different environment can help to make machine smart. So machine is learning. Okay. Artificial intelligence is machine work as a human being, but how it will work? By learning. And how it can learn? By deep learning. So deep learning is like neural networks we have. So same like we can have in the machine, that can multi-layer neural network feasible we can create, so the machine can learn, then machine can work like a human. Is it clear? Now, so some differences we have given. So artificial intelligence is a discipline, sort like physics, and it do have some theory and methods to build a machines. Like how the machine will think like human. We define the code, we define the logic, we define the theory, and it works accordingly. In machine learning is set a tool set, and that helps to learn machine directly rather than we define those methods or theories. So like we define a laws, and based on different let's say Newton laws there. So Newton laws, let's say there's a ball left from a particular height, how much time it will take to reach to the ground. If the height change, the time will change. So machine can learn by different experiment. Like when I leave the height from 1 kilometer height, then how much time it took. From 2 kilometer, how much time it took. So machine is learning and learning based on the different testing or different experiment. This is how the machine learning defines. And machine learning, you can use machine learning to solve certain type of artificial intelligence problems. And this is more jargons or lemon. In short, machine learning does not you start out intelligent. They learn. So machine is like a dumb. It's starting. They learn by experiment. Same like newborn baby. Okay. Now we comes to next concept, that is blockchain. That is a relatively important concept, though we don't see in detail because the no detailed question asked on this one. So blockchain is a new concept where the database sort of the database. So when it is a database of information in blockchain, each block. So we cover what is a block. So block is a envelope which contain data. So not only contain data, but the hash of the data. What is the hash? We have seen this. What is the hash mean? Abhishek, Karthik, what do hash do? What is purpose of hash? What is purpose of hashing algorithms?
So to change message to unreadable format means you sending the message from one source to another destination with hashing.
Hashing it is unreadable or
Hashing
encryption
means that the source, it is the content has not been modified integrity.
modified.
In-
So
modified.
hash is always that data has not changed. Data has not read. It is encryption. Source of the data is non-repudiation. But hashing, what hashing do? No modification has happened in the data. So in block they store the data. They use the hash algorithm to store the hash of the data also in the same block, and they also store the hash of the previous block. Why they store the hash of the previous block? Any
So that
idea?
the chain would be like, you know how the chain works. So
So the reason is that if someone compromise this block, they can modify the hash also, correct? So but they don't so let's say this block is got compromised, but next block has a actual hash of the block, so that has a real hash, and this hash will compare with this next block hash when there was a happen. So they can identify someone has attack or someone has modified a particular block. So that's why the previous block hash is also stored in the blockchain. So how blockchain works? So when a user requests for a transaction, so a block represent the transaction is created, and this is more in terms of the cryptocurrencies. I mean, cryptocurrency, all the recording or the bookkeeping done via the blockchain only. So how they do? So so when there is a let's say transaction happen on the internet, there must be a record keeping of this one. Who will because there is no central organization who can maintain the transaction. Like in bank we can maintain the transaction, who has done the transaction, who has given the money, who has withdrawn the money. In the blockchain system, in the cryptography system, there must be some system who can maintain the bookkeeping. And to maintain the bookkeeping, so you see the crypto mining is more on the bookkeeping softwares only. What they do, when there is a crypto operation happens in the cloud, there must be someone who can maintain the record of that one. And to maintain the record of the same, we use the blockchain. How this? When there is a user make a transaction, a block representing that transaction is created, and that is only for the record purpose, and that is broadcasted to the all nodes of the network. So like all the like say record maintenance not happen on the one place, it happens on the multiple place. And there's who are maintaining the record. This block is broadcasted that there's a record that transaction happens, so the record has to be maintained. And when the all node validate the block to the transition, so how they validate? When the transition happen, they calculate the hash. They validate the content of this transaction, like sender, receivers, and other detail, and they create a block at their end, all the parties. And they maintain the hash of their previous chain and the hash of the particular chain, and the hash is added in the chain. So this is a block of the chain. So next time the transaction get verified, transaction get executed, and even these record entries get confirmed that yeah, this record is added. So whenever, let's say when there was a transaction happen, the history can be maintained by these blocks. So these blockchains only maintain the history of the transactions. So this is how blockchain comes. We will read in the later sections also, but as a bigger overview, we have to understand each block is having a hash and the previous hash value. That was the most important point to remember as of now. Okay. So there are some challenges with the blockchain technology. One is the scalability. Let's say most of the potential user of enterprise blockchain platforms are multinational firms like banks whose clients so it can be used in the positive ways also. It's not necessary that in cryptocurrency will use a blockchain. This technology can be used by in the positive ways also, like banks and others, where there has a thousands of clients and tens of the million transactions. Then it's very difficult to scale them efficiently, serve the huge number of customer without the hitches, because it has containing the data hash and previous hash. The scalability is a issue with the customer count is very large. In same way, this security also, the security, why the security is a issue? Because until unless let's say some user let's say I give an example. There's a fraud transaction happen in the system, and that is able to add you're able to add a block associated with that uh, in the system. Let's say it's quite impossible as of now, but there are always a possibility that when the fraud transaction happen and you add a block, and that can store the previous hash, then you can you can attack the previous block also because you know the hash of this one, and same way you can traverse in that blockchain. And I also read one. I have seen one video. I will show you how this works. But as of exam perspective, there are security threats associated with the block when there is a fraud transaction happens. So scalability, security, and some say data privacy, some criminal activities can be used. So they are the broader challenges of the blockchain. So you have to see them in detail when we'll see the video associated with them. But as of now, we can see there are some challenges in the blockchain technology because of this new technology is not fully tested and accepted in the industry as of now. So it can be used by wrong ways also. That's the challenge as the blockchain as of now. Now we come to IoT, the next concept quickly. IoT, that we have seen that each device or each machine, each system can work as a human, or um, as a machine who can interact with the internet, who can interact, can do some processing, can share the logic, they have sensors. So like smart TV we have seen, smart doors, LED lights, those all are now all example of Internet of the Things. And what we have to understand, the challenges, security challenges is one, because they don't have proper IA, identity management system. We create an account with very weak password. We don't frequently need to change the password. There are the issue of this maintenance, availability, patching, supervisions. So even though the tools has a smartness, but those smartness are very poor, because they are not very small devices to have all these systems. So they don't have a encryption mechanisms to store the data in encrypted format. They don't have a systems to update regularly or patch them. If there is a new vulnerability comes, there is no proper uh, options to make it go into maintenance mode and upgrade them. And it is all customer depends. Customer has a control whether they want to upgrade it, whether they want to store the strong password. They don't have a very good mechanisms like the other IAM systems has. So they are a small devices with the capabilities of uh, some IoT capabilities, but they do have a security risk. Also, sometimes we have seen that even smart TVs out nowadays are getting hacked, and their videos being used to record the personal videos, because they are not very, though they are connected to internet, they are always available to hack, and they don't have any strong mechanisms to stop the attacks. Now we quickly discuss the quantum computing. There's also very buzzword, and though it is not related to cloud, but the quantum computing we can use in the cloud in future to making super fast computers, super fast machines. So you might be aware there is a two state, it has 0 and 1. So you might have heard this in class 12 something, the qubit they create, and only the two state it is stored either 0 or 1. In normal legacy computer, here it can have a state in between also. So quantum computers are able to achieve the such vast computing power by replacing traditional bits. So in traditional computer can have a 1 and 0, but in the quantum it's known as qubits. It can have a state between 0 and 1 also. So transition not happened, like 0 and 1. It can be transition in progress. So this is how the quantum computing, but there is no real life application. This is just still a concept building on the making super fast computers. And the use cases can be, it can use a machine learning also, it can be optimizing problem, security, finance, but those are still in the research areas only. Some quantum chemistry also to solve some modules or new drugs, finalizing, creating new drugs, those as a possibilities seen in the quantum computing. Now, most important concept in this slide is edge computing. So this is something you need to understand. So when there is a IoT happen, these devices are storing some information, but information is useless unless we found some meaningful result from them. So one is either you send this information to cloud and cloud do the processing, but it is too much data travels from this to this, data loss, and also unnecessary information going from there which is might not be relevant. So there is a computer edge computing. So computing at the edge only. So it is a deployment of the computing and storage resources at the location where the data is produced. So data is getting produced here only. There can be a software or a resource who can do a processing at the edge only. The reason is that this devices does not have a capability to do any processing. As I mentioned, they are very small devices, very limited capabilities. They can store the data, like they can store when you have logged in TV, when you have logged out TV, or you can store how much, which channels you have seen. But if they want to understand the pattern of your behavior, your any like let's say there's a solar panel, it can collect the data today how many units is produced, this how many times it was on off. So those data can be produced, but there is must be processing unit. So processing unit will be separated but near the device only. This called as edge computing. So this keyword is important, edge computing. Just remember this keyword. There is one more keyword is confidential computing. So there are two keyword, one is edge computing, one is confidential computing. So though this is not related to this topic, but I just covered this confidential computing. So we have seen that in cloud there are three rules. If data is stored, it should be encrypted. If data is in use, it should be encrypted. If data in motion, it should be encrypted. So if data is in store is encrypted, we'll cover in via AES. If data is in motion, it should be encrypted. We'll cover via TLS. But if data in use, it is example of data is use. So there is a trusted executive enclave TEE. Remember this keyword T chai. So if data is in use, we use T. It is known as confidential computing. So what is confidential computing? So when there is a guest operating system, when there's applications, if any critical code need to be run where the data is required, the data that run outside these boundaries. So it goes outside to a trusted enclave where data is decrypted. This comes in the plain text. Code use the data and then results comes here and the data again go to encrypted forms. So let's say when you say the data is still stored in the cloud as a secure encrypted format, but when any application read the data, it need a decrypted form. Let's say someone need a date of birth, someone need a some property fields of a user, they need a decrypted forms. If it is hash encrypted, how application will able to understand it? So it decrypt it, but when the application decrypt it, it comes in the memory, and there is a possibility that it may reside there or someone may read it in the plain text. To solve these issues, this is trusted executive enclaves concept comes. It makes sure the data that is being read outside that memory area and remain secure, because this block is secure and only results comes here. So this is still a I haven't seen this in live example. This is still a concept wise in cloud computing as of I have seen, but it is yes known as a confidential computing. So if you ask what is edge computing, edge computing is a processing of data at the edge. What is confidential computing? Confidential computing is computing of the data in the secure trusted executive enclave. Is it clear? These two definitions is most important in this slide only. Okay. Now we just confidential computing is a hardware-based trusted executive T environment we have seen, and it is secure enclave within a CPU. This T is secured using embedded encryption keys and all. So it even though data is in plain text, this T is encrypted, so no one can hack the data or alter the data from the T. So this you read about T, but only thing you need to remember more is cloud computing and T associated for the data in use case. Okay. Now last terms before we cover few questions is DevOps and DevSecOps. So you might have heard the DevOps agile frameworks. So development and operation can run together. So in agile, if you see, if we have work on agile, Karthik or Abhishek, we do have a sprint where we do a development, and then we have a automation by CI/CD, and we deploy the solution. In DevOps is develop and operation. Like you have develop. So in the legacy model, we make a develop a code, test, and put in the repository. Develop, test, and post in repository. There is no release of the or there is no release in the live environment. But if development and operation both are in live, you make a development, you make a testing, release it. You make a development, you make a testing, release it. Every sprint, after every sprint, it's known as a DevOps. So DevOps is a concept which is industry accepting very fast because the changes can happen and see very quickly, but it is not secure software development. So DevSecOps is a secure software development concept that's now coming in the development lifecycle management. So how DevSecOps? DevSecOps said that you develop, you test, then you test the security principle also before you release. So so it looks like what is there is a difference. There's a difference because when you develop and you test, you don't worry about the whether it pass the other security principle, like whether my piece of code will be have a brute force attack enabled, if what will be impact of this one, what will be impact if there will be a SQL injection, because until unless it goes in operation, we don't know all these scenarios, we don't see all the large customers engaged, and if it is going live, the security must be a concern. So now even in the DevSecOps also helps enterprise integrate security principle and standards across the SDLC by implementing security controls at each stage in development, integration, deployment, and production. So DevSecOps is new concept which is better than DevOps in terms of the security. And again, I mentioned security is always each step. The security is being taken care. Like it is not there that I develop the code, later I will see whether it is secure on the SQL injection or not during the integration, during the deployment, or during the production. Okay. So this is the end of the theory part for module 1. Now we'll cover some questions quickly, then we'll connect tomorrow. Okay. So I think 3 questions we already have seen yesterday. So we'll cover from 4 questions. 3 questions. Yeah. So this is to you, Abhishek, first.
Okay, which of the following is a cloud completed team of profitability, portability?
Terms, you have to remember those terms, important terms.
To move the data between one cloud provider to another, between public and private. Application access data between D.
Correct. Correct. So, so this jargons, as I mentioned, portability, interoperability, resiliency, governance, edge computing, and confidential computing. There will be one questions on this few 6 7 jargons. So recall them. Correct, you are correct. So not only application but data also from one cloud to other cloud, or from public to private cloud. Okay. So this is now to you, Karthik.
But public to private cloud or private to public, both are same, right? In that scenario.
Okay. So private cloud, you have all the controls.
Hmm.
So private cloud, so private to public is always possible because private you have all the controls. The problems comes when the public clouds.
Public.
Okay. Karthik, this to you. Can you hear me, Karthik?
Private.
No, Karthik. The cloud busting is the example of which cloud? The
Hybrid
cloud. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. This is Abhishek. So this is for you both only. So we have to match what is the example of ask, pass, and SAS. So Abhishek, you are see the ask example. Karthik, you see the pass examples.
Okay.
This is a matching type question.
Say ask is database.
Which one? Ask is not database, Abhishek. Pass is database. In ask we have infra, so backup, recovery, and virtual OS. So we'll discuss. Yeah.
One
So in
four for the
yeah.
pass.
So PaaS services are the platform services. Database is platform service, or you can say like this document and email. You can always say document management email is a SaaS service. So 2 and 6 is
Service.
2 and 5 is good, and the PaaS is the development testing, and the database is the PaaS. IaaS is like backup, virtual OS, recovery. Those are the IaaS infrastructure related components. So these types of question comes when you ask PaaS and SaaS. Okay.
Backup is like backup of the data, right?
Not backup of the like whole infrastructure backup, because these are the VMs. They may crash, they make VM of, so there are two type. When is the backup and recovery comes, it is always the infra backup, because whole infra get backup where database, data, application, virtual machines, those got backed up. Okay.
Okay, so I understood by backup is like just the data backup. So
Okay,
I
no,
considered that
okay.
in pass.
So okay, in cloud there is no concept like data backup. The reason is that data is always in replica mode, always in resiliency mode. So when a customer go to cloud, like have you seen that we are making a data backup in the cloud ever?
Data backup in the cloud. I mean, if there is some disaster management solution, so in
So
that case,
we'll discuss
they
the
just make
disaster
a
mechanism.
snapshot and try to recover it from there.
So snapshot of data. So we always take a screenshot of the VMs, and also I will cover the disaster. So when in the cloud, the data, there's a concept data dispersons. So when there is a cloud, we do have a three type of cloud environment: cold, hot, and warm. So we'll see how the data backups works in the cold, hot, and warm. So we'll see again later. But yeah, quickly I cover the question. But there's a no actual customer do not migrate the data to the other cloud. We are just the data backup. There are mechanisms for the disaster in the cloud. So we'll discuss
So,
later. But I quickly
in the cloud, when we have VMs, right? So
correct,
we attach different volumes to it. Like we can create a memory and then we can
correct.
attach and delete the volumes.
Volume in
So,
object storage. Yeah.
right. And of those volume, we can create a backup also.
So the volume, volume of the book, there's a backup of the volumes, not the data. So we can again take a backup of the volume, can attach to the new volumes. So all the volumes get attached to the new infrastructure, new VMs. Are you
Hmm,
getting my point?
so that should come under pass,
Backup and
right?
no, so there's not pass is you don't have control of the strategies, like how this backups will happen on those volumes. You are just using them. So let's say your whole infra go down, that one data center goes down, and and your data is also in this particular VM. Let's some power failure happen. In that case, also your data and your object storage will be get backed up quickly before the power by this till the that power is there, because they have some generators or backups till 24 hours. In that duration, they will back up quickly to the new location, new site, so your business or data does not get impacted. So it is responsibility of the infrastructure portion how this backups happens.
Okay,
So
yeah.
in past, you only have control of your application or application data only.
Hmm.
So this is to, I think, Abhishek, identify Abhishek, which is the IoT component. It's not a fundamental IoT component.
Following is not fundamental component of IoT system. User interface.
Always you have a user interface. That's why there's a in TV you have a user interface. You provide the user. So user interface is always there. Sensors are always
Transformer.
there. Transformer, there is no concept like transformer here. Connectivity is always there. Then data, some sort of data processing is there, and we do have edge computing for the wider data processing, but we don't have any transformer associated with the IoT. Okay. This is to you, Karthik. Karthik, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Which negotiated contact. Not sure about this one.
Okay. So, so sometimes they have to understand the concept we have and then try to understand. So ask, pass, and SAS we have seen who can control what. We have a maximum control in ask and least control in SAS. So if we have a least control in the SAS, we do have a possibility of vendor locking. And the way to remove the vendor locking, like we can have some strong contact or negotiated contact with the customer. So in the SaaS model, since we have a less control compared to ask and pass, the risk of the vendor locking is highest. And we will cover the vendor locking also again detail. But I have keep this question because it's related to SaaS, pass, and ask. So SaaS applications are more difficult to migrate away from S. They would typically impact their business process. And when procuring a SaaS application, contract negotiation is very important in case of SaaS. So in case of the SaaS, the contract must be very strong and very important because there is high chances of the vendor looking you will not able to move your data away from that application or from that CSP.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, makes sense.
this is Abhishek.
What does cloud reversibility refer to? To transfer this data stored in a cloud service to a different cloud service available. To retrieve and delete data stored in a cloud service. Trace the source. Point number B.
Okay, Karthik.
Yes, B only.
Yes, correct. So this, as I mentioned, one question on the definition. This is like reversibility, portability, interpretability, cloud computing, edge computing. One question will come. Today we almost over the time, so we'll close here only. What time we can connect tomorrow, we can decide. So will be afternoon time will be fine, both of you.
Yeah,